Human interaction has evolved over time, and technology has played a significant role in how we communicate and connect with each other. With a multitude of social networks available to us, everything from Facebook to Twitter, we should be more connected than ever. However, recent studies show increased levels of loneliness. According to a major study, roughly 20% of Americans, or about 60 million people, are unhappy with their lives because of loneliness. In recent years, there's been growing concern that social networking sites like Facebook have been interfering with real friendships, distancing us from one another, and spreading the isolation they were seemingly designed to conquer. A 1998 study by Carnegie Mellon University showed that increased internet usage was already coinciding with increased loneliness. But the fundamental question remains: does the internet make people lonely, or are lonely people more attracted to the internet?
There's really two camps here. There's a camp that thinks that our relationships are declining, and a camp that argues that the evidence for that's not really very solid. I'm really in the second camp. I don't believe that the evidence here is very solid. They did a first wave of research, and they showed a detrimental effect of internet use, but subsequently they found contrary findings. And I think that correlation never really can tell you the exact answer to what's cause and what's effect.
In a study of 1,200 Facebook users, researcher Moira Burke concluded the impact of Facebook on social relationships varies with how it is used. People whose friends write to them semi-publicly on Facebook experience decreases in loneliness, whereas passive consumption of Facebook correlates to feelings of disconnectedness.
One of the things that I think about with regard to internet and social networking sites is the issue of what you do on them. And I think that there are activities on them that involve bringing you together with other people, self-disclosing to other people, things like that. And then there are other kinds of activities, just constant surfing, very superficial kinds of interactions, playing video games, things like that, which I do not think lead to reduced loneliness. What we do find very clearly is that when people think that their levels of social contact are lower than their peers, they're likely to feel lonely.
Being alone and loneliness are not the same thing. Anyone who's ever been to a party knows you can be surrounded by people but feel completely isolated. Ironically, it seems many of our attempts to rid ourselves of loneliness have only served to block us from developing close bonds with friends and family. Instead, we make superficial connections, but a connection is not the same thing as a bond.
So often we think everybody should be our friends. Everybody I meet should like me. And that's actually not the secret of our research. It's about being selectively connected and about finding those good matches. And it doesn't take very many. That's the remarkable thing.
I see social media as just another way of connecting, and just having people who you can say are your friends is not really having meaningful social networks, and it's the quality of people's relationships rather than the quantity that really matters.
Solitude used to be good for self-reflection and self-reinvention. But now, we are left thinking about who we are all the time, without ever really thinking about who we are.